Hello, Stuart from Matt's Playground here, and today I am testing out a new app from Google called Toontastic 3D, which has just come out. It's a storytelling app for kids, and the idea being they can create their own stories like a virtual puppet show on Android, iPad, iPhone and some Chromebook devices. So I'm going to take you through briskly what it does. So here it is running on my iPad, and children can choose one of three stories: a short story, a classic story and a science report. So each of those has a structure to it. So for example here, beginning, middle, end. For the classic story, there's more of a kind of setup, conflict, challenge, resolution, conclusion. And it's basically teaching kids about the rudiments of storytelling. So these are corresponding to kind of scenes in these different stories.
Where you introduce the characters and the setting of your story.
So here we go. So what kids have to do is, there we go, I'll do the light back up. Choose settings. So there's a bunch of settings. There's city, there's space, there's explorers, there's pirates, and each of these scenes is kind of bigger. It's like a whole set basically, with lots of interactive elements that the characters can wander around. As you can see as it zooms out and pans around, they're quite big and there's lots of bits to explore. So I'm going to do something set in Atlantis. And then I can add the characters. So there were a bunch of characters along the bottom of the screen, each of their names. So kids choose who they want to be in. So I'm going to have them, and maybe a shark. Douglas the shark. Okay. You may see this button over here, draw your own. Kids can actually draw a character and the app will turn it into kind of a 3D object to go in with these things. But I'm going to stick with the ones that are there. And so as you can see, the characters are in the scene. You can drag them around. They're all swimming because the underwater one. And you can zoom in and, zoom in and zoom out. And move around, so kind of kids can choose where they want the action to happen. So if these are all swimming, we'll have them in the bowls. Oh, it's a dolphin, not a shark. As you can tell, my my natural history knowledge could do with some brushing up. So when you've got paired, and when kids are zoomed in, they then press start, which will trigger the recording. And when it's recording, it's going to record what they do to the characters, so they can drag them around to move them on screen. They can tap on things to make them interactive, and then they can also speak, and the kids are actually providing the dialogue. And I'm going to have to keep talking you through it while moving around, but what you might be able to see is when I'm talking in the microphone, the character's mouth is moving, so it's kind of acting out my words. So I could have a story where they're all swimming around, push my iPad over, but also in this you can look at the backgrounds and see what's happening. So for example, what's this? That's nothing. There you go, there's a treasure chest that opens. There's an octopus, looks slightly dangerous. And so basically I can create my scene and record it, and you can see at the top it's kind of limited, it's quite a short scene. And when I've finished, I will press the stop. I'm going to have to keep talking you through it while moving around, but what you might be able to see this is slightly confusing. When I'm talking in the so I will take you through there with me talking, and then you've recorded your scene, and then the child would do basically another scene. What I didn't have time to show you there was there's music. You can choose to have angry music or sad music or romantic music in the background afterwards. So when your film is finished, so pretend we've done these three scenes, you get to give it a name. My movie, directed by Stu. Press tick. And now it will play me the whole thing. I'm going to have to keep talking you through it while moving around, but what you might be is what you just heard. And then it's saved, and as you can see here, I can edit it again, so I can go back and make changes. I can export it, which saves it to the camera gallery. Which means that kids will be able to save it and then put it on YouTube or send it to friends or do whatever they're doing with it online, or I can delete it. So that's about all there is to it. your things are saved here, as you can tell. You can start that. Now there's also a button called Idea Lab, and in there you've got a bunch of videos that people have made that give you inspiration. So kind of professionals have been using it and doing some cool movies which will give kids inspiration, and also stuff from the community, which is what kids have been doing with the drawing bits as well as with the characters. So there's plenty of kind of inspiration for kids there to get them doing. So that's Toontastic 3D. It's I'll go back into there, it's nice and quiet. It's out today. It's free for Android, iOS and Chromebook. It's based on an app called Toontastic that was around about 4 years ago, and the company that made it got bought by Google. So it's taken this much time for them to kind of redo it, rework it and put it out again. But it's a really fun tool, and I think like a lot of apps like this, the real fun of it will come from seeing what kids do with it and the way they do stuff that maybe wasn't expected by the developers. I think there's loads and loads of open-ended creativity to be had here. And I think it's also the kind of app that parents will enjoy as well as children. It's something to do together, and you can do the voices of the dolphin, the kids can do the voices of the pirates and so on. The other thing I didn't mention is you can mix and match, so you can have people from space under the water and so on. You're not restricted to the same characters in the same locations. Anyway, that's Toontastic 3D. It's a free download, free to use. There's no advertising and no net purchases. It's part of Google's education arm, so it's not really involved with the advertising stuff. And it's worth a try. If you like this video, you can subscribe to get regular children's app reviews. And thank you for watching.